Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thando Mangaliso here with my beautiful wife, Vanya Mangaliso from the Sangores team. And it's Friday, and as per usual, it's time for the Fashion Blueprint.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to join us as we share the life in front and behind the scenes of the fashion business. It's been an exciting week.
It was your birthday this week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my birthday.
How did that go down?
Very beautiful day on Wednesday, 14th of March. A huge blessing. As you know, on my birthday, I usually like to do nothing. I like to have no plans. I like to just chill out and, let life unfold. Let life surprise me. So that's the kind of day it was. Did you get onto Wi-Fi?
Yes, and very interesting for ourselves as well. Last week we celebrated, obviously, Women's Week, which was an absolute success. This week we were working with Proudly South Africa. They were relaunching the brand, in that for a long time Proudly South Africa was there. But what is the meaning of Proudly South Africa? What is the consequence of Proudly South Africa,
Yeah, it's really about buying local. It's about supporting local. But when you say buy local, what was quite exciting yesterday is that they had the different political parties, and they were discussing procurement at that level, on the level of government. What is the government policy? What is the sentiment? So they had the EFF, they had COPE.
So hold on a second.
They had the ANC.
Let's just take it a bit back. When they say proudly South African, does it mean that you're proud to be a South African? Is it a feeling? What is actually proud?
Well, I think, I will not speak on behalf of Proudly South Africa as an organization, but as a consumer and as a South African, I think, it's that pride of buying goods that are made. You go out of your way to buy goods that are South African produced. But it goes beyond that. It's about the products themselves coming in at a level. It's not just about sentiment. You don't have to buy things because of you can, but it's better if the product itself is of a high standard. So that's what Proudly South Africa is there to do, also to make sure that we as South Africans, we're adhering to a certain standard. Because once you put that sticker that says Proudly SA, it's no longer your problem alone now. We are all involved. We're all a part of it as South Africans. So it is exciting. And really what was interesting is the scale, the fact that, like I was saying, if we start to inculcate that culture, even at government level, where they buy Proudly South African. I mean, somebody even made a joke about T-shirts, campaigning T-shirts, 6,000 of them that will come from China for elections. And
so basically building and boosting the local economy, boosting your local trader, supporting your local trader, going out of your way to go find.
Going out of your way. I like that.
Would you?
It's not easy, and going out of your way also means price. Yes, you might pay a little bit more, say 2 rand more for a South African T-shirt as opposed to a Chinese one, but long term the advantages are immense.
In terms of creating jobs.
Yes, you are investing in yourself.
Creating creative platforms which are sustainable.
There's also that reality of preserving skills, in the sense that if we stop doing certain things locally, you remember when we started and we were trying to print our logo, creating a monogram print on the bags, like how you see LVs printed all over. You try printing that in South Africa. It was a struggle. And also remember, this is a specialized thing. We're a boutique. We're not trying to print 40,000 like Louis Vuitton bags or 100,000. It's not mass produced. We are talking about printing a limited number of 20 or 30 leather bags at a time. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle to a point where when we did find somebody and when they went under, it was hard to replace the supplier. So this is the reality. As Kanye West says, please support the artists so they can keep doing the art. There's also those advantages to supporting your local trader. You don't want to lose the skill. I remember the one day we had a Japanese client in the store, and they were buying a dress. It happens all the time, but this one particular example, and they wanted the length to be trimmed, and we were like, yeah, when you get, she's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, yeah, when you get home, just trim it, because I also think some of the alterations you can do yourself. And she was like, I won't find anybody to do it. I was like, what do you mean? He says, no, we're not going to find somebody to do this in Japan. And the point there was, there aren't people who can sit in Japan. It boils down to space, in the sense that, are you going to have tailors sitting there taking up space trying to sew things, or are you going to outsource the skill outside of the country?
Right,
do you know what I mean?
right.
It's all those things. So if you don't do certain things, you will lose them. It's like now here in Joburg, we're sitting with older ladies who do beadwork, right? And the kids don't want to take it over. When the mom has like a big order, it's a struggle to execute that quickly, because the kids are not interested. They don't see the value. They don't see how special what the parents are doing, because it doesn't come glamorous. It doesn't come with the education. And you sit there, that education that that comes from a certificate in a particular institution, but we're working on that to acknowledge those skills of the self-taught creative. Whether you're a beader, whether you're a designer, if you are creating something, if you are creating something, if you are supporting yourself and supporting others, you've got employees. That is, you are doing something great. There's an intellectual activity working that can be documented and used to help other people. So the point behind that is, it's a whole skill issue. We're talking about Japan, that if nobody knows how to sew by hand, eventually, if people are not sewing by hand, nobody's going to buy needles, because what are you going to do with them? And then eventually you lose those kinds of skills.
No, for sure.
Unless you're taking deliberate steps to preserve them.
I also like the underlying theme of not only should we buy local, but if you find someone making something local, creating a proper supply chain with that person. I liked what they spoke about in terms of developing a supplier,
Oh, yes.
Not everyone is going to get it right on the first day. And I think there's a lot of impatience and frustration. And obviously, time is of the essence.
I'm
But
thinking,
being
yes.
able to build, being able to build a supplier. People always ask me, who are your suppliers? What I do is I've got my main suppliers and I'll give them someone else. But I think in the long run and in the long term, in terms of what we are trying to achieve here in South Africa, people must look to develop their own suppliers, So let's say, for example, you're making bags. You want bags done in a certain way. It won't happen overnight, it won't happen immediately. But what you do is you go through the process of developing that person so that they make the bag that you want in the end. I think that was something
course,
very,
yes.
very important for me as well.
Sure.
That I took away from the conference yesterday.
I mean, we've done that a lot with developing suppliers. We've got a bit of practice with that. I think, when we started our store, our first shop in Rosebank at Old Mutual Square, we are, the idea was also to have other designers supplying us, not to just sell our product alone. Well, also we needed stock, so we got them through. And one of the things was the fact that we actually had to develop them as suppliers, tell them what we want, how we want to manage the relationship. And that process is that very process that still makes it difficult today for designers to meet with stockists. I mean, I speak to stockists all the time, like The Space, Supreme. And as we've said before, one of the fundamental problems why those relationships don't grow is just the ease of doing business. And this is one of the things that when we mentor young designers, we try and help them with, where you try and you make them understand it's not about you. There's a way, there's certain obligations. So, but when it comes to big business, they don't have the time to sit and develop you as a supplier. Sure, they try to, but I think at the end of the day, you don't want to be developed in-house. It would be nice for you to come with skills and you can, as a supplier, and you negotiate your own deals. I mean, you don't want to hand yourself over like that, I just think. But obviously, if you can't, yes, they will help you. But I think that also comes with limitations. It's really about having a smart economy. This is now the latest buzzwords from PSA yesterday. Smart suppliers, smart customers, and buying local and going out of your way, and also taking local to be SADC. Always remember to think SADC. Because I mean, we sell to each other and buy from each other, and then the next logical thing, it's our neighbors.
No,
where
for
we've
sure.
got trade agreements and all of this. Because the reason
also, what people must also remember is that SADC is, let's say, 2.5, 3 hours away by aeroplane. We work in similar markets. You know, if you think of yourself here as someone who's trying to supply, you will find someone in Zimbabwe, you will find someone in Mozambique, or even Namibia. You know, when you think of now going further afield, the first logical step is people want to go to America, people want to go to London. You know, there it's just a whole different ball game. You know,
of course,
if you get to Mozambique, you set up proper appointments, and you come with your product, I think you will find one or two people that will be interested in your product, and you can kick it off from there and develop that market for yourselves.
Interesting you mentioned Mozambique, because I just think of the number of people I often hear say, I'm driving through to Mozambique. So you can imagine as a designer, you can load up your boot. I mean, that's how we got the brand out there in the beginning, you know, your Beetle, put clothes in the boot of the Beetle, and we went to our friends and family. So you custom it wider, put clothes in your boot, and you go set up in Mozambique. And you cultivate customers. Even if you meet 10 people, it will be worth your while.
No,
it's never a waste of time.
And it's a lot easier. Doing business in SADC will just be a lot easier. I think we need to change the mindset that you need to go that much further. You know, things are closer. And also your clients can come back to South Africa as well, because people in SADC travel to South Africa extensively, you know, throughout the year. So you're able to see, you know, your new clients both in South Africa and abroad as well.
Sure. Thank you. We'll go to an ad break. It's time to pay the bills. We'll see you on the other side of this. Thank you, guys. Don't go. We back.
Brandlife.co.za is Thought Leadership Radio. It's a new way to communicate your brand, your value, and what you think about your industry. Be a leader.
You'll never stop at one. I'll take you all on.
Be a voice.
I have a dream.
And we will help you shape your industry. Our radio platform is for thought leaders who want to share insights, businesses who want to create value for their databases, organizations who want to control their message, for those that drive change. Make your brand come alive on brandlife.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Brand Live.
No doubt.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Brandlive.co.za, 27 boxes. March month, we're going towards Easter, and we're discussing Proudly South African. So earlier on, we spoke about the fact that government went overseas to go get some T-shirts when they could have had them done here. What was that about? When we talk of trade agreements and infrastructural development and the development of the local market, why would government go and do that?
Well, thank you for all the questions that are coming through, guys. It's always exciting when it's interactive. We look forward to more questions and comments. It really makes the show dynamic, and it's also good to know that the message is coming through. You ask yourself why government does certain things. I think we are all aware that there are certain agreements that exist. You know, if everyone agrees that we should be supporting and buying local, then what is the problem? I think the reality is they do have some existing, as mentioned, in some instances. They have existing agreements that they signed at a much different time. You've heard I don't want to get into it, but you've all heard the story of our Reserve Bank that is owned in Germany. It's a privately owned institution. It does not make sense. It's very complex, but I'll leave it at that. I think the message behind that is we need to pay a lot more attention to the things we do, no matter who you are, wherever you are. You
The
have a
Reserve Bank
voice.
is owned
You have a
outside. Wow.
voice. You have a voice, and you have a way of affecting the outcomes. None of us are ever that completely helpless. I think with awareness and using what we have, the faithful use of whatever resources you have within you, whether it's your vote, it's your contact, it's the message you are telling your child as a future voter, or as a future active citizen in the economy. That is your power. You're not that helpless. You have the ability. I think for me, that's the most important thing. You have the ability to impact what happens to you. So yes, we have those trade agreements that made a lot of sense at the time. Like for instance, one of the things I heard was that our poultry is like second to none in the world. South African poultry is the best. However, we are still buying 6 million tons of chicken
From Brazil.
from Brazil. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, but it speaks to some old trade agreements that were made. And I think that we need to go back into those things. And like one of the things we say to designers is become a part, like when it comes to fashion, become a part of the associations around you, become a part of the dialogue, so you can impact what happens to you. Like I say, that's why I joined the council, because I just realized that this is my world. This is a world I care about, the fashion world. And things will happen without my voice. And I will point fingers, whereas I could have been part of the solution. So whatever it is that is bothering you, I think you need to make sure that, hey, love my bag. You need to make sure that you're a part of it. You are, you never feel helpless. For me, that must be just one of the worst feelings in the world, where you feel like your hands are tied, you can't do anything. It can be a good feeling. So even when it comes to our economies, I think we have the ability to impact and make change. And so some of those old agreements need to be revisited. So whatever sector you're in as a proudly South African producer, go understand the politics of the business you are in.
No, for sure.
Get familiar with the politics and see what change you can impact, and also realize that especially in the creative industries, we need to document a lot of the things we do, because some of the policymakers aren't that familiar with the day-to-day trials and tribulations of our work. It's just a reality. They have, some of them have never really walked in our shoes. And it's always different. It's not the same. I mean, you can theorize all day. There's just certain things that no book can ever teach you. Boils down to experience. You either did it or you didn't.
Well, that was well said. I was going to put in my 5 cents worth, but you've taken the words right out of my mouth. Just to add on to what we were saying about Proudly South Africa, I think it's very important for us just to, think. Obviously, you can't get everything locally made, but what we are trying to say now is that just be conscious. Where you can make that difference, where you can boost someone, where you can, put someone on the map. Let's just try our best to do so. But at the same time, obviously, it must not just be for sentimental reasons. The world out there is a nasty
Of course.
place,
If
and it's
it's-
very global. And, whatever it is that the person is doing, it must be of a world-class standard, and you must be able to use it, every day.
Sure. If people are buying on sentiment alone, that's just very fickle. The market is
Not
very
sustainable.
fickle. And if it's driven by sentiment, you will go through a lot of heartache. So it's better that your product speaks for itself. I mean, the whole thing is it's about creating products that can stand on the world stage next to a Brazilian product, next to an American product, next to a Russian product. And I must look at this product and I must connect with my South African product. But buy it not because it's South African only, but buy it because I just love it. Buy it just because I love it. And I just can't, not because of sentiment, but sentiment mustn't be the only reason I buy the bag. I mean, we were taught that when we got in this industry, and it's what we can pass on to the next generation. And I mean, it's a much more different world. It's a really, really global world where whether you like it or not, you are compared to your contemporaries around the world. You are also competing with them in the consumer's mind. We get customers that come to us, they're like, oh no, I want this shirt in an extra large. Can I come in the morning? I'm leaving tomorrow morning. And you know what? Usually you'd like the luxury of a week. But they're talking Hong Kong. You know, these are global travelers. They're talking Hong Kong. They're talking India. Remember in India, they were gonna make us a leather jacket in like hours. So you're talking people who can turn it around like this. So you look around and you think, damn, must do my machine. Why are we sleeping? Let's do this.
All right, ish. It's that time again. Every time we come to the show, it just ends before we know it, you know. And we just have such great fun here. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone for supporting us.
Thank you
in
for
our
indulging
endeavor
us.
and indulging us. All the people online sending mad love. You know, it's just much appreciated. We are novices at this thing, and we are getting better and better by the week.
We're stretching ourselves.
But yeah, no, thanks, man. Anything else to say, Mimi?
I just, you know, it's been a really, really, really amazing week. It's been a week of perfection. As you know, my birthday it's the one day. It's birthday, Christmas. I've got 2 days like that in the year where I have no plans. I let life unfold. I don't want to be scheduled. My life is so regimented and planned that, and it's such a fast pace.
7 days a week.
7 days a week that, you know, I retail 364 days a year. So whether I'm in the shop or not, consciously I'm on. So to have a day of nothingness, like for me, a blissful day is when nobody leaves the house. I don't spend a cent. I don't do anything. I don't even get out. That's the kind of luxury. And, you know, I'm having the exact experience that I need for my growth and my awakening. So it was really, really beautiful. And of course, the highlight is when my twin sister comes into town. Well, okay, she's younger than me. But she, you know, we share a birthday and she comes to celebrate. So that was really amazing. It was a great week. And I thank you all. Thank you for listening.
All right.
Thank you for the questions. Keep them coming. Even during the week, I appreciate the feedback. And if you have any things any particular topics you'd like to hear us delve into, we'd love to. You know, we've got 17 years in the industry. We have a lot of stories to share. We have a lot to share. It's rare to find that kind of thing in this industry, and wherever I find people who've got this kind of experience, I cherish them. I bring them close because I care for this industry and I understand it's at its infancy and it takes all of us to build it. So thank you very, very much for your love and support.
Okay,
we'll
so
see
we'll
you
see you
next week.
12:30 same time. Fashion Blueprint. Buy local and promote local.
Thank you.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.